Hey Cheevers, today's topic is the connection with yourself, and I'm really excited because I have invited Juliet Malray, really good friend. She's also my coach. She's amazing. And she has a community called Sisterhood of Strength. So she's all about self-confidence, connection with yourself, perfectionism, how we look at failure. And I wanted to talk with her a bit about that today. So she's a master certified coach and a transformational coach. So, hey, Juliet, I'm so happy to have you here.
Hi, Maya. I'm very happy to be here with you.
And it's so funny that we both have flowers today.
I know. We were vibing on each other from far away.
Yeah, we were. Tell us, where are you now?
I'm currently in Connecticut in the United States.
Perfect. Yeah.
Far
So,
away from Peru.
yeah, far away from Peru. So, hey, when I told you, like, hey, let's have a chat about the connection with yourself, and you know the community, you know Healthy High Achievers, you're one of our achievers. And what came up for you that you were like, okay, this is what this community needs to hear?
Perfectionism. That was the first thing that came to my mind. I can relate. I have been there in the past, and it does creep up. I mean, even if you're ongoing with yourself and learning and growing, the negative self-talk and the need to be perfect, so to speak, can pop up and rear its ugly head at the worst times, right?
Yeah, and I hear that with so many clients how, they're stressed or frustrated about the fact that they're being hard on themselves and they know they shouldn't be, but still it's as if it's stronger than themselves. Right? So what is something they can do to really change that around?
Well, first we have to realize that this popping up of perfectionism is not about self-improvement at all. It's not improving yourself, it's not empowering yourself. In fact, it's quite the opposite. And usually it's an attempt to gain acceptance, to have approval from others. And of course, that goes back lower, lower, deep in the roots of ourselves of what's causing that. Um, so we do need to get in touch and ask ourselves, what am I using this perfectionism to help me? Why am I using it? What's the purpose? Because most likely it is something from the past when we're younger. So many things can happen and pop up. It could be something that our parents did, maybe not a traumatic situation where we're abused, but something where we didn't feel like we're up to par, or we're
Mhm.
feeling like there's a little bit of us missing and we're trying to fill that void up. And so what are we going to do if say in my situation, I ended up being a single mother, right? And I had kids. And I know what kind of parent my parents were. And so it was almost not just proving to other people that, look at me, I can succeed as a single parent, but also to myself, I don't want to be that person. And so it was
Mhm.
this constant drive of succeeding and showing my kids and showing other people and showing myself. And it can be such a spiral, so hard, and it breaks you down, of never quite achieving what you set out for. Because realistically, perfectionism, there's no such thing. It's a
Yeah,
hamster
and
wheel.
that's what I hear a lot. Yeah, it's like when they say I'm never satisfied, or clients always say I'm always looking for the next course, the next podcast, the next certification program because I feel like I need to learn more. And of course, it's that love of learning. They love absorbing new things, new information. I'm the same, you're the same, I know. But then it's like, when does that stop? When can you tell yourself, hey, this is enough? And how can you sort of improve that connection with yourself so that you feel more satisfied? Because when you don't, it's like a constant stressor on our body, right? It's constantly, it's not enough, it's not enough, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough skills, I don't have enough of nothing. And then our body's just in a constant state of stress.
Yes. Now it's okay to continue learning. As you just said, both of us love to learn. I just have a love for it as well. What else can I know? I think it makes us more well-rounded. But when it is to fulfill this need of showing someone how good you are, how capable you are, see what I can do, look at me, that's where it gets in a bad situation, And so another thing I want to point out is some people also, when it comes to perfectionism on the work site, it is easy to do your best somewhere where you can be praised, and harder to bring that home to a child, to a spouse, partner, parents, relationships, where it takes a lot of emotions and energy to do that. So that's another reason why people may be, at least on the job, a perfectionist in a drive to succeed there where they don't in other emotional aspects of their life. So again, when we come back to what can we do, it really is about diving deep, finding that root cause of why do I need to become the best, why do I need people to know that I am a good at my job, that I am well educated, that I'm the best at cooking, whatever it is, right? And then we have to see, are we holding ourselves, what standards are we holding ourselves to? So
Mm,
one thing I like people to do is make a list of things you hold yourself accountable to. What is it that you feel you need to achieve? And
yeah.
then go through that list. And would you hold someone that you truly love to that list? Would you make them feel like they're not good enough if they don't meet what you hold yourself to? So, and it's kind of like, oh my goodness, I would never have someone that I care about not meet these things and feel bad about themselves. And so that starts the conversation, about why. Another one is, who's holding yourself? Where are you getting that feedback of how well you're doing? If you're an introvert and a high achiever, more likely than not, you're getting it from yourself, because you do all this stuff and then you go home and you retreat, right? and
Yeah.
then you start to tell yourself, oh, I could have done that better. Why didn't I do it like this? I'm so stupid. Next time I got to go harder. And so make a list of a left and right side. On the left side, write all the things that you feel that you've done well, good feedback for yourself. And on the right, start to write down the feedback you get from other people. I don't care if it's you dressed well today, you know, or you're a great listener, or I really, you did a great job on this project, or, I feel supported by you. Start writing down those things. Don't just let it go off in the wind. And then see if your list really matches up with the other side. More likely than not, your friends, family, and coworkers are going to fill that list. And so you have to see if you're devaluing yourself, you
Mm,
know.
so it's on both sides, sort of the positive feedback, but on the left
Hmm.
side is the positive feedback that you for yourself, you say, okay, I accomplished this, I did this really well, things that maybe your positive self-talk somehow, that
Yeah,
probably we don't have a lot in the beginning before practicing this. And on the
yeah.
right side, really what other people are telling us of positive feedback. That's a really
Yes.
interesting exercise, because what you mentioned is something that so many high achievers struggle with, is that, oh, I'm so stupid, I could have done this better. They look back and they focus on what I could improve, not what did I do well, but what's missing, what's lacking. And it's kind of, like I said, that never being satisfied, right? And always be like, oh, I could do this better, and if I could only improve this skill, then I could do that. And so it's always that wanting more and more and more.
Yes. And I'm a big supporter of brain dumps.
Mm,
When we say diving deep, there is something that happened to you when you were younger, or a continuous situation. Maybe it popped up in your teens or your low 20s, but it happened maybe a couple times, and you took something from that as a failure or need to be better. So where did that start? What are you proving? So brain dumping on perhaps your childhood. What did your parents praise you for? What did they compare you to? you know is
yeah.
there some kind of love that you're trying to fulfill that you never did? And if you do your best, then people will love you. So there's a lot of this emptiness that is being filled by this perfectionism, or need to, because like we said, it's never going to stop.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good one to do, a brain dump, because sometimes we ask ourselves, so why am I like this? Why am I being hard on myself? Why do I always expect more? Why am I a high achiever? Why am I a perfectionist? And then
Mm.
sometimes the first reaction is like, I don't know, I can't remember. But when you do a brain dump, like you say, you just put a timer of whatever, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you want, and you start writing or typing it down, anything that comes up, and you just let it flow freely. I did it once, and I do feel like it all of a sudden things come out that you're like, when you read it, you're like, oh yeah, oh wow, yeah, I didn't remember, or I didn't, because you just give your brain that space to just flow, let it out, and reach really that. I think it's beautiful how that can be a technique to reach the kind of root cause of, hey, why are we like this? What happened in our
Yeah.
childhood or upbringing?
Yes. Especially when you get on a specific subject, like you can do a brain scan of your body. If you're thinking about a parent, your father or your mother, or a sibling, and you feel tightness somewhere, why are you feeling that tightness? What's your
Yeah.
relationship like with
Mhm.
that person? Brain dump upon that situation. Things will pop up that you go, just like you said, oh my goodness, I completely forgot about that. And I never, connected those two things together. I'm sorry, my thing is shaking because I have a dog who's trying to.
No worries.
So I
Trying to
apologize.
catch your attention.
Yeah. So, when you connect that, it brings up those deep rooted
Yeah.
feeling and thoughts, because really thoughts are what get us to feel a certain way, and those feelings cause us to have actions, whether it's to do or not to do. And so that's why we have to go backwards and change our thinking.
Yeah, and so while you're brain dumping, like you say, it can also be a bodily sensation of just your throat getting a bit tight or anything you might feel. You just kind of have that hinge, something in your body tells you, like, hey, this is something important. And then what I do sometimes is I take that sentence out of my brain dump and I start a new one with that. Maybe another day, maybe the same moment if I'm in the flow. And, that's when you go step by step, when you go deeper. So I think it's a beautiful thing for achievers to do this week is to do that brain dump. Think about, where does your perfectionism come from? Why is your friendship with yourself not as beautiful as your friendship with others, people you really love? And really get to that root cause by just writing it down, put a timer, put away all distractions, and just see where it takes you. And then the other task, what people could try, is that left and right side. I love that idea of just, what's the positive feedback I give to myself in reality, and what's the positive feedback from others. And when you evaluate, you can be like, okay, how kind am I being to myself? If I get way more positive feedback from others, I'm like, okay, what could I be saying to myself more and more to just create that better friendship, right? So
Exactly.
that's really beautiful for people to practice. Are there any last words that you like to share with us?
I want to remind people and give them the space to forgive themselves as well for what they think they've done wrong to others and to themselves, of what they feel they haven't achieved, that we are all perfect already at being imperfect. Every last one of us. And so, when we feel we're being judged by another person, just remember to come in empathy with yourself and to others, that all of us are imperfect beings traveling this journey, trying to find ourselves. So hang in there,
Yeah,
achievers.
beautiful. And that imperfection is human, right? Because,
Yeah.
there's no perfect human. And how boring would it be to just be always 10 out of 10 or 100%? There's no room for improvement. All high achievers would be bored as hell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? Every last one of us learned to stand up and walk at a certain age. We didn't just stand up and go. We went from crawling to wobbling to falling down, steps. So it was a process. Why do we expect in our lives that everything we do should come out perfection, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And the beautiful thing is that a toddler, when they walk and they fall down, they don't beat themselves up, right? They're like, oh,
oh,
I'm not made for walking. Oh, I should just give up. Oh, I'm not skilled enough. Oh, I need to read 10 more books before I can give it another try, or I need another certification. They
if
just
this
get
is
up and try again.
sorry, this is any consolation to all these achievers. I worked with a very high powered surgeon who is an inventor, and his inventions have saved over 1 million people's lives. And this surgeon and inventor told me he never hires anyone who's afraid of failure. If they haven't failed, he does not want them in his space working with him, because it took so many times for him to get his inventions correct. The fact is, did you do it? Did you fail? What did you learn? Did you keep going? So that is all very important. And this is coming from someone who is very well revered in the science and medical industry. So remember that we become better when we fail. It makes us more thoughtful and makes us push ourselves with motivation. We learned what not to do. So if he would hire you as a failure, he wouldn't look at you if you didn't. So
Ah, that's so beautiful and so important that we can learn from our failure, that failure is part of the journey, that imagine a life without failure. I mean, you wouldn't learn, you wouldn't stand back up, you wouldn't even be walking right now because every toddler falls.
that's exactly. So yeah,
Thank
I hope
you.
everyone kind of takes this and has some food for thought and does the brain dump and
Absolutely.
yeah, lets you know. I hope they comment on this and lets you know what they've some insight that they've received from this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Julia. It's such a great chat, and I'm sure everyone has a lot to think about. So, Cheevers, good luck and enjoy the journey and the friendship with yourself.
Thank you.